What I did look into, do you guys think this is just a more explicit case of swatting?
Someone popped up on stage and he like instantly just backhanded him. Didn't even look like who
I
it was.
find no
I don't
issue
see
with
an
that.
issue with
Yeah, I
that.
don't
It
Not
was
at
a
all.
woman.
Is it an artist?
But still.
And
Not
he
what
wasn't
happened.
promoting any violence towards it. It was absolutely, yeah, he was narrating the
Those
footage.
officers should be gone. That judge who said, yeah, do this
Mm-hmm.
without any
Welcome to
evidence.
Universal Confusion Podcast, episode 22. We're here, as you can see, no Dale today. We got friend of the podcast, Drew Bittner, here with us.
Hey guys, what's
Drew,
up?
you haven't been on since episode 11. I looked back earlier just to make sure I was factually correct.
Yes, it's been a minute and a half.
At least a minute and a half. Some might say more. So with that being said, also here with Justin and Aaron. Aaron, what should all of our viewers and listeners be doing right now?
Should be notifying themselves of what? Oh, God, I bombed that one.
That's all right. Go on.
Whoa!
I had a Justin moment there.
You
Here,
did.
let me do this.
Head over, subscribe, and click the bell notifications because you will get notified of what, Justin?
That's where you will get notified of all of our new content that releases. New shorts every Tuesdays and Thursdays, and full-length podcast every Friday. So come over and check out all our other stuff, which is what, Drew?
You can find it on Spotify, Amazon Music, Samsung Podcast, and so many more, like internet.com or website.net. Make sure you follow us on Facebook and X, or for you communists, also called TikTok. Now let's get into it.
Perfect, Drew. That was beautiful.
I thought Dale was here for a second.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like not even skipping a
Seamless.
beat, you know?
Seamless.
Just
Totally.
So smooth. So
Totally.
flawless, man.
So, boys, what are we talking about today? I actually, just full disclosure, this is a, asking for suggestions for topics. Obviously wanted the guest to be involved. So I asked Drew, and he had brought up the topic of the lawsuit between Afroman and the police.
Yes, there was a warrant filed against Afroman by the Adams County Sheriff's Department in Ohio, and the warrant was for drug trafficking and kidnapping. And basically, they went in, kicked his door in when he wasn't there, and found no evidence of either.
Right. And where the lawsuit comes in is the police department's actually suing him, correct?
Correct. After they raided his house, he made some music videos and songs about the sheriff's department. Used video from his own home footage, and also his wife was filming the officers inside their house as well. And the cops are embarrassed, and they believe they are entitled to money for
25,000 each.
ruining their reputation, or I don't know exactly what, defamation. I'm not
25.
sure exactly what.
Defamation of the video that they were clearly doing.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, the police were saying that that's caused them a lot of, pushback from the community. You know, that was,
Gee.
yeah, 25,000
You think?
each they want. Like that was very, it's caused them a lot of, I can't think of the legal term for it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, you start to, it does make you kind of question, like, first off, how did they even get these warrants?
Right. How
Like,
did they even get the warrant?
What
a
proof? What-
confidential informant who was probably had something against them, I'm guessing. And the information's out there that there was a group that was it like Motherboard or something. They're the ones that got like the FOIA Act and got all the records on it. But someone just said that he's got these women. He's got thousands of pounds of marijuana and 2 women in his basement. They call it the dungeon. And when they piss him off, he makes them shit and piss into a bucket. So with that, the police went and got a judge, signed off on the warrant, and then they went and kicked his door in and searched through his CDs and his suit pockets. And
Now, is this just on face value, right? And again, I know Drew knows something about this. You looked into it quite a bit. Again, I didn't look into it too much. I'm sure Justin did not at all.
Saw the video.
You saw that we did watch the music videos yesterday.
Does explain
we did.
a lot.
First thing that came to my mind is, so in the video game streaming world, right, of playing video games, streaming it out, there's this thing called swatting, where people will go on to these streamers, stream.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
They'll call the
Swatting.
police and say they're holding somebody hostage, they're blah, blah, blah. And literally SWAT will show up, storm the house. Obviously,
Yeah.
very dangerous for the person streaming that's not actually doing anything wrong, because they're extremely confused as to what the hell's going on. And of course, these guys, the cops coming in are at high alert based on the call they got. And so you have this weird thing where, like, someone could get killed over nothing.
Someone
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
killed over nothing from
Well,
swatting.
I was gonna say there. Yeah.
I'm sure it's happened. But so at face value, just what I did look into, do you guys think this is just a more explicit case of swatting? Like somebody put forth this information to get them to do all of
Well,
this?
I
It's
mean-
possible.
I think
I
that
mean-
the cops might have coerced the informant
Okay.
into putting these
Tell me about that.
allegations.
What do you mean?
Well, I don't know. The allegations of like the dungeon in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
The home actually has no basement. So those are
Crawl
just
space.
completely.
That's an
Yeah.
issue.
It's a little bit unfounded,
Yeah.
and also there's like no other evidence, just what one informant said.
So you think it was more of a case of like the cops were out for Afroman, whatever his real
Possibly.
name is,
Yeah,
and that they were just looking for any reason to get the hell in there.
that's kind of how it looks.
Okay. Okay. Now the cops are suing.
It does make you wonder if there's like a deeper backstory. Like, did he piss off like somebody out there who's like in the political scene?
Well,
or
I assume
something,
so.
or-
I mean, let's be honest. If we're being fair here and we're being like, whatever, like no one has really gave a shit about Afroman, like mainstream wise, for a decade or better, right? I mean, he was very, he
Well, I
had
mean,
a very,
he's
that
still,
very
like, he's-
popular stuff.
yeah, he.
I know
Because
he's
I
still
got
doing
high.
it.
Yeah.
But not mainstream by any means.
Well,
It
no
didn't
one's
blow up like the song did.
right.
because
No
I
one's
got high.
no
It
one
was
in the
very
last
popular.
decade's been like, "Have you heard that new Afroman album?" I mean,
True.
someone has, but I mean, again,
Well, yeah, I mean, dude,
mainstream-wise.
he played here in town. So
Did he? See what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, he played the Looney Bin.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
I,
I mean-
think about like 10 years ago,
Couple
he
times,
caught
I
some
think.
heat for smacking someone on stage.
Okay.
Well, he was performing. I guess he was actually playing guitar at the moment. And someone popped up on stage, and he like instantly just backhanded him. Didn't even look like who
I
it was.
find no
I don't
issue
see
with
an
that.
issue
Yeah,
with
I
that.
don't
It
either.
was a
Not at all.
woman,
Is it an artist?
but still, it's like he
Yeah,
didn't know.
so-
Nah,
And
dude.
he's like, I was just protecting my equipment that I bring on tour. Like security should have kept them off of
Well,
here.
protecting my equipment, myself. I didn't know
Well,
if she had a knife
Yeah,
or
well,
what.
that's
You know.
the thing is security should first off, they shouldn't be
what-
up there.
yeah. Like what happened to Chappelle not too long ago.
But
right?
dude,
Yeah,
dude,
You
we've
know?
all played out. I know how lax it is at these places.
But so there's a lawsuit filed by the police department now suing him,
defamation.
which is kind of funny because I feel like there should be a lawsuit going the other direction on
well, he's
illegal
countersuing.
search and seizure.
He's
and
countersuing though.
okay, well, good for him.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying that it's hurting their reputation. It's causing them issues within the community because people are siding on the side of Afroman for what seems to be, to me, obvious reasons.
Well, I mean, it's like, dude, if that's all it takes to get into somebody's place and do that, they can go anywhere. And it's like, what's scary is if they do go ever, we want people's guns. I mean, it's like clearly these guys are gonna just go in and do it. Like,
Get a warrant
Yeah.
signed and get in there.
I mean, it's kind of like the Liberty Saves thing. Like,
well,
you
usually
can't
when
just give that
people-
shit up. You can't just invade people's privacies and their rights and like freedoms on some bullshit. Like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's
Usually
clearly what
when-
they did.
Before a warrant is signed, there's usually some investigation that goes into seeing if these, this is a
Allegations.
credible allegation,
That
right?
was
Like
exactly
they
my
might
thought,
monitor
yes.
something, they might see what's going on there, start tracking movements.
Stakeouts.
I mean, come
Yeah.
on. They could go down to your local tax assessor's office and find out how big the basement is and see maybe there, find out if there's a hidden room down and then come and find out, well, there's a crawl space there. Right? No one did any type of investigation whatsoever. They just went, got a warrant, got a judge to sign it, and kicked his door in and went through his whole house. I mean,
Yeah, they search like everything,
Everything.
like
Well,
coat pockets, everything in
Well,
your
and-
closet. And I get it. They're looking for money and drugs.
Money, drugs, whatever. Like, I mean, when they get a search warrant for your home, it includes everything in your home. So, I mean, if the cops are doing a thorough job, which it sure looked like they were doing a very thorough job, they're going to search every nook and cranny to try to find what they're looking for.
yeah,
Whether or not,
and some lemon pound cake.
and some lemon pound
Can't
cake.
blame him on that one, man. I can't blame him.
But they're suing him for using the video, right?
So, yes.
Yeah, putting the
Right.
video up.
So it was home surveillance cameras that he had in his own home that he bought and purchased and put up in his own house for security purposes, obviously. And as well as, and I didn't know this, but Drew had mentioned it, his wife was filming the cops doing this stuff. And so some of that footage was also used in his music videos. I think that he wrote, 3 songs was it? 3 or 4 songs about
Did a whole album, didn't
incident?
Yeah, he did a whole album, but I think there's mainly like 3 or 4 songs that
Wow.
were about the incident.
Okay.
Like Lemon Pound Cake. Will you help me repair my door?
Yeah, that was the one that was the one we
That,
watched.
that was pretty good.
That was a
Like,
pretty good one.
It's like, come on. And he's like, just this is all I'm asking for. Help
Yeah.
me fix my door.
So, but no, I mean, yeah.
It doesn't make sense because how are they going to sue him for using?
for invading his rights and taking freedoms. Well, hopefully no judge will let that fucking roll.
Well, you would hope it gets
I mean-
thrown out, but I mean, I think it
That's
definitely
the thing.
opens, depending on how that lawsuit goes,
It could get
It-
scary.
it definitely opens the door for just other people to have similar things happen to them for no reason.
Well, the cops turning around and like suing because you made them feel bad because they're idiots.
Well, yeah. And I didn't realize you said 25,000 a piece,
They
like
wanted-
each
yeah,
officer
yeah,
that was
they
on
won
site.
25,000 each.
So we're talking
Oh,
probably
yeah.
millions, right? I mean,
Terrible hardship they went through.
yeah.
So bad,
There's
so horrible.
Not having to shoot at anybody or
So now
not
there's
being
class
shot
action
at.
They
lawsuits
have to deal
against
with the
private
fact-
individuals.
God
Got
forbid
it.
all these other cops go through way worse shit.
They
No,
are
these
dealing with
guys
the
are
fact that
entitled
they
to
couldn't
fucking
shoot a
money.
black man.
Wow, okay.
It's not here. I don't know.
Yeah, I
I
would
don't
go
know.
straight to
What's
that.
sad about that?
Yeah.
I
Keeps them
went
up at
there.
night.
Yes. Missed opportunity. It's like he's not here. Well, let's come back.
So was he there at the time? I know
He
what his
wasn't
kids
there.
were there at the time. and his wife
he was
there.
not there. I believe it was just his wife that was there.
Okay.
But like, it's interesting because you have the right to record an officer,
In public.
under the First Amendment.
Yeah.
But it is kind of weird when it's in your own home. Now it's a private residence, but you should still have that same right afforded to you.
Is it not?
I don't
think
know.
it's-
Okay.
I think it is, but
I mean,
But
it
it
should be
might
more
be-
so.
The only thing where like he might have issues in the is when it comes down to the music and the money being made, their likenesses being used without their consent to make money and put it out.
I understand that, but it
So-
was in his
Yeah.
on his
Yeah,
property.
but that would be
in
the
his
only
home.
way I could see like some lawyer thinking that they might be able to squeeze some.
Might be able to get something
You
there.
get a good enough lawyer to go in there and countersue. They got nothing, man. You think, I mean,
No,
How
because
many-
dude, there's like
because you could
You
do a
would hope
FOIA
that-
act and get police body cam footage for anything, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Well, and from what I've seen from the music videos, and I think me and Justin watched 1 or 2 yesterday when we were looking into this, and I mean, he didn't say anything in the music of the music video that was not clearly portrayed in the camera footage.
right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like he didn't like add things that they had done.
Or he didn't say, like, when you see these cops on the streets who, open fire, it's
Well,
open season or something.
he
You know,
wasn't-
he's not.
He
Yeah.
wasn't claiming they raped his wife or anything.
Yeah,
Where
right.
that's
And
not
he
what
wasn't
happened.
promoting any violence towards it. It was absolutely, yeah, he was narrating the footage.
What was
with
happening?
The song.
So
yeah.
I'm not sure how you can sue somebody over footage of you
I don't.
actually doing something and them saying that you did that actual something that's on
Right,
video.
Yeah. Oh, I got you.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you? Then
Again, like them going after it like emotional damage kind of thing, that seems weird. Again, like if they're approaching it from the, well, you using our likeness to make money, and that's not fair, and blah blah blah.
Lots of people use their likeness to make money.
So
Police likeness are used all the time. To
well,
make
then on
money.
that. So on the flip side, then there's body camera footage released all the time of different incidents and all kinds
Yeah.
of stuff. So should the people that were being filmed by the body camera be able to sue the police department for defamation based on the release of the body camera footage?
You know, it just makes me want to sue James Cameron for using the image of a police officer in Terminator 2. So let's take
I'm
it a
not
step
sure.
further.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I'm offended by James Cameron. So I
Well, you
don't
have
like
to
the
be
fact
that
that he used a police officer's likeness for the T-1000.
well, you'd have to be involved.
Involved in, I watched the movie. I'm
You would have-
involved. The movie was made for me to be involved
but
in
see,
it. I
that's
was
such an
involved in it,
abstract
and
and
that's
way off. Like there's
am
like
so
direct party
But-
involvement there.
right. I understand,
You'd
but
have to
that's
put
just
yourself
kind of
into a situation.
how crazy
To make-
things sound now. You know what I mean? Because
No,
me
I-
saying that sounds really dumb, but some of this stuff is really dumb.
Yeah.
That
Oh, yeah.
that happens within the confines of the law that no one really respects anymore.
Well, and
Because we are seeing the freedoms we have being stripped away slowly and little by little.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and I
Yeah.
think that's the bigger point here with this whole thing. Because
Yeah.
again, nobody's given a shit about Afroman for a decade. No one cares. But I think the underlying issues with it are the ramifications of, like Drew said, free speech, being able to use the footage of your own cameras at your own place to, one, defend yourself and point out wrongs that have been done to you. And if that's silenced, right, that's kind of a slippery slope, I would say.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to think then any police footage put out from now on you could liable to be sued, or you might be responsible for paying for that officer or giving them money because their emotional damage your video put out and stuff like that. So all police footage everywhere could now be, oh, you got to take this down or we're going to sue you.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and I want to be.
And I mean
go
that
ahead,
enters
Drew. You
like
were gonna-
yeah,
you were
like,
about to say
again,
something.
like the whole freedom states things like that's huge. Like
That's scary.
yeah, because if you can get that stuff silenced and it can't be put out,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and there's a lot of videos
That's-
of like audit the police where
Yeah.
they'll be filming cops doing stuff, and the cops are like, "No, you can't film us," or like they're filming at a public location, and they're like, "No, you can't film the outside of this courthouse."
Right.
And it's like, well, actually, I can, and they like eventually go to court, and the officers get, not the officers, but the sheriff's department like end up getting sued, and then that's our taxpayer money
Going.
being paid out
Yeah.
because of their inability to account themselves for.
Or know the law or what
For the
is
law.
or
Yeah.
isn't
That's
lawful.
the thing is how many police officers actually don't know the law.
Yeah.
And how many of those videos you talked about that I've watched were actual people like have schooled police on what actually their rights and freedoms are.
Yeah,
Well,
like
now-
there are some where
well,
the guys
the
are just kind of
lawyers know the law. Police officers
Do not. Well, the lawyers, that's their
enforce-
job.
even though they
enforce the law.
don't. But they don't. The unfortunate side is we're talking about is they don't know the every dotted dot
Yeah.
of detail.
Well, I think there's two
Like,
sides. I think there's two sides to this, though.
8.34.
Right. Yeah, they don't know. I think there's two sides to this, though. And so, I mean, for the most part, right, I am pro police, right? I think I don't want to go do the job they have to go do on a
No,
daily
no,
basis,
no,
right?
no.
I'm not waking up to go do that stuff, not know if I'm getting home tonight, that kind of stuff.
Well,
No, I
and
mean-
a state of anarchy would be.
I mean,
We
for
don't
the,
need-
I'm just saying, for the most part, I am very pro police, pro cop. I think there's situations like Drew was speaking to where, you know, people are filming this and they, I think some of that is invoked. They're trying to get that reaction, to post that on social media or whatever, to get that reaction, to get those views, to get that money from views and things like that. They're almost instigating the police.
It happens all the
absolutely.
time.
Yeah,
And I think there needs
Yeah.
to be, and I'm sure there is some discussion within the police departments, like, don't let yourself fall victim to this baiting that these people are doing to try to get the views, to try to get you to act up, to try to get you, riled up, pissed off, and do something that you shouldn't be doing. Because the thing, but it's not like anything new. Like, everybody knows that every moment of your life, you're out in public, you're on camera.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I don't know if some of these police departments just haven't gotten that memo yet. Like, they think they're the only ones with cameras walking around.
Well,
Like, I'm not sure.
You
know
also
what I mean?
think on the other side of that, though, like the other side is then there's some police officers who are just doing their job, who maybe didn't know anything what's going on, and they're just being told, oh, we have a warrant because, some policeman be like, oh shit, that's serious. And they're gonna go. So at the same time, it's like, well, I was just told that we're serving a warrant and there's like women trapped in a basement. Maybe they didn't use, Afroman, or they use his legal name and they don't put it together that it's Afroman. Maybe there's a
That's not
cop
their
like,
job
dude,
to know
there's
that.
no way there's Afroman. Yeah,
Well,
right?
I mean, again, it's like if you're a Marine getting dropped somewhere, you don't really ask the questions. Like,
Exactly,
hey,
right.
you're
You're not
getting
looking for the
orders and you're
background.
fucking going.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. Is
I mean,
it's
now the
like,
officers, it wouldn't blame.
just doing their job.
It's not. Yeah, no. It'd be like it's not, the cashier's fault that the prices at Walmart went up. It's like the heads. It's the people that are
Yeah,
up.
right,
The people who
yeah.
went, hey, let's get this informant.
Well, I would
Oh, we
also
wanna do
assume that
this,
the
and, like,
police that responded, to serving that warrant and searching the premises, that I would assume anyway, that they did what they were trained to do in serving a warrant.
True.
Where I think the bigger problem would be who actually sought out getting that warrant and why, and what kind of research and information did they have or not have before doing so.
Well, and that's what I mean. It's like it's them, and then it's the judge. Like, what
What judge went?
did you
And
guys?
also the informant.
Did you
Right.
lay out? You like, here's pictures. Here's this. Like,
But does Afroman have a history of drug trafficking and kidnapping or something? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's in his
oh,
background?
that's like even in his
Yeah, I
video.
don't
Like,
know.
I kind of understand the drugs. I mean, he did make a lot of money making songs about weed and drugs.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, I can
Just
understand
saying, you know
that,
what I mean?
and even he admits that in the video. That you.
Well, but you
watch.
still need evidence.
But he's like, but
Right.
why the kidnapping? Like,
Yeah.
and that's where it's just like, what proof? And if there's thousands of pounds or all this
Yeah.
weight of
Now, what's the
drugs down
marijuana
there,
law
like,
in Ohio? I have
there's
no idea.
Probably illegal.
Does anyone know?
I think it's still illegal.
It's still like fully no medical.
Look it up.
Oh yeah, look up, Gus, if you could. What's the law on marijuana in Ohio right now?
is it legal in
But-
Ohio?
That's what I'm
I-
saying. Because I mean,
MAR.
obviously, it can't be if they got
Just,
a warrant.
I-
is weed legal in Ohio? Just
And
type
do you
that.
think
on.
that the informant
Why are you
is weed
deleting it?
legal
is
in Ohio?
could be sued as well, like for
Take it
falsifying
easy.
testimony
It's
to
Well, I
legal
mean,
the
here.
warrant?
It's legal here.
I sure would think so. I
Like,
mean,
so
again,
it's
I'm no
illegal,
lawyer.
they could be held
illegal for
responsible, or are they
recreational
just
use.
like free to do claim whoever they want
It's
to
legal
claim?
for medical.
Medical, but not recreational.
Correct.
Okay. But so no, I
Only 100 grams.
you bring up a good point. Like the
Only.
I just eat
confidential
half.
informant, what kind of liability did he open himself up to with what seems to be no truth to what he had said?
Right.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So it seems to me, anyway, that that's twofold. One, that Afroman would clearly have a case against this confidential informant. I'm not
Oh,
sure
I guess
exactly the legalities of how you would go about doing that, but more importantly, that any hardship that's on the police department right now because of what happened
Is that guy's fault?
is that guy's fault.
Right. Yeah.
So maybe
Totally.
they should be worried about suing him or throwing him in the slammer like they were gonna, unless he gave up somebody or whatever the situation was. That there should be some type of ramifications for just lying about somebody and then, again, like Drew had said before, spending all this taxpayer money I mean, those guys got paid salary or hourly or whatever to be out there raiding this house
Well-
that they found nothing at.
Well, and you said he was called what kind of informant?
Confidential.
Yeah.
He was, his identity was not disclosed.
Yeah.
Probably some
But-
woman.
But at that
That's
time,
jilted.
yeah,
Hard to say.
You
at
know?
that point, yeah,
Confidential.
it should be taken, like, again, they should be punished. The judge, I think the officers that did this, like
Hang them
the
by
officers-
their thumbs.
Again, like you said, not every officer was there is going to be like, okay, like, hold on, let me see all the details of this case here.
No,
That's
I-
not their job.
They're going to go somewhere and do the
Right.
thing. So,
That's not their job.
yeah, I think.
When they get the call to go serve a warrant, they go serve
Yeah,
the
it
warrant.
should be no more blanket punishment. I'm
But I
sorry,
think-
man.
I
This
think
whole
it's-
like they did that even when I was back in the military. It's everything's a blanket. They want to blanket punish everything.
Yeah.
No, that individual's a fuck bag. Gone. Get
Yeah.
him out. Those officers should be gone. That judge who said, "Yeah, do this,"
Mm-hmm.
without any evidence, get
Yeah,
him
I
the
think
fuck
his,
out.
I
'cause he
think his
clearly can't do his job.
countersuit. I think
I
his
will back
countersuit is just
It's-
against the county, but then he has
Like, yeah, it's awful.
he has the individual police officers suing him for the videos that he put out. But I believe his countersuit is going against Adams County, which would then be like the
As a whole,
right.
municipality.
So basically he's probably targeting the county sheriff.
Well, it would be the sheriff. It would be the courts. It would be, I mean,
Mayor.
the county would encompass all of that, I would
Judge.
assume.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I would assume that would be the case.
The
But I mean,
governmental body.
But I mean, again, the whole like,
Yeah.
what, he can't use his own footage?
Yeah, that's bullshit to me though.
Well,
I
then
mean,
And the cops
in that same
cut
time,
the
then
cord or unplugged the camera so that there was no more footage. What's
well,
the
they were
purpose of
probably
that?
confiscating that in the warrant search to see, let's find where we'll go back and watch and see where the entrance to the lair or the dungeon
Okay,
is.
you know what? That's a good point. I guess maybe they were trying to
You know what I
confiscate
mean?
the home.
They do
security
that.
System
They do that all
to
the
go
time
back.
when police go to
Although I think-
hackers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Usually if there's computers there or hard drives, that stuff's taken.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Now, I think
Yeah,
most
but-
of that stuff nowadays is saved
but
to like
see,
the cloud
but-
and things like
but
that.
that's the
Right.
thing,
Like, he
though.
could have been
But-
watching that live.
Well, but
I
that's
think
what
he
I
actually
mean.
said he was.
He
is
probably was. Like,
the
holy
the
shit.
need to cut that was completely unnecessary because, like you just said, and we were just saying, that it's going to be stored on a cloud. It's going to be stored on a computer. They're going to get that. They don't need to do what they
that's
did.
that's a simple subpoena.
There's not a
to
box in there.
whoever's camera he has.
There's probably not a box in there. And
No-
even if there is,
No one is using that anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're really
Some
stuck
like
back in
Nest
the
or
90s.
Ring cameras or
Well, right. They would just subpoena
Yeah.
them for the footage, and then they could
Right.
have all of that stuff. Which, to be fair, they probably should have done that before serving the warrant or before getting the warrant.
they probably didn't know he had indoor cameras. Who knows?
If they didn't know he had indoor cameras, then
You're
they definitely
going-
didn't
yeah.
know he had hostages in the basement of that he didn't have.
obviously that they didn't know.
again,
If, that
well,
he
they
did or
probably didn't because
either.
they didn't do any research.
You think they were like, we
into
don't even
this
know if
at
this is
all,
the right
so-
house?
Ah.
Oh shit! This was next door.
That shit fucking happens,
Yeah.
dude. That shit
It
happens.
does. That does happen.
That's wild. So,
Well, I mean, a crackhead gives you directions, and they were wrong. My bad.
But just like you were talking about that swatting thing earlier, that there was that story of this dude that was playing online games with some guy, and he was like egging this dude on to swat him, and then gave him his address of his old house. And then the SWAT team showed up there, and then this dude that was living there at this guy's old house ended up opening the door, had no idea what was going on. And, they're shining all these lights, and he put his hand up or whatever, and then they shot him, man. Like, dude died in his doorway.
that's some dangerous shit, dude.
That
I don't know.
is-
I don't know
yeah.
how people think that shit's funny.
I
But
don't either.
It's
I
also
don't
just.
understand it.
I mean, I understand you're going in kind of hot, but like, unless like, you should, as an officer, know the difference between a hand and a handgun.
Well, we've
Yeah.
Like,
I think we've
if
had
somebody
this,
does this and you shoot them, you're an awful officer.
yeah, no,
Like that's a
And
terrible.
what's funny is the
like,
cop that shot
training, it
him
comes down to
has
training.
had
Yeah.
a history of police brutality in his past.
in
there.
his side.
There's a thing on Netflix.
So he sent
about
that guy in first.
yeah, yeah.
Sending Dirty Harry, bro. We'll take care of it.
Yeah, it's maybe not the guy who used to be clearing houses in Afghanistan.
Yeah, maybe not that guy.
Yeah, there's a thing on Netflix I watched that on about swatting and some of these crazy shit that goes on.
I swat a
cyber
lot,
crimes and
dude.
that. Huh?
What a
I
lot.
bet you
The
do.
flies are bad out back.
Oh,
Accurate.
he's talking about flies. All right.
Anyway, go on with your Justin with the side note. So we're getting to the end of this episode. Anything we missed?
We've just been
Anything?
so serious.
I
on
got
this
one detail.
Yeah.
The cops, they found about $5,000 worth of cash there,
Okay.
and then they gave it back to him.
I was gonna say,
4,600 back. They gave
Yes,
to him.
they were 400 short, and they said it was like a clerical error when the deputies were counting it. So it's just like shows the credibility and the extreme detail that they take into their work.
You know what puts it in my mind is
Well, I mean,
is
the
here's
government
counting the money.
just lost how
He's
many
counting
billions?
the money is like in Dumb and Dumber as the cops are walking out and he's giving them a 20, giving them a 20. Good job, boys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was more than the 5,000 originally, but then that extra 400, that
Just
was already
gave all the cops a
counted for
$20
within,
tip,
yeah.
man.
Gotta love the clerical errors
get a
on accident.
burger.
Yeah, we didn't
Get some donuts.
know how to count money that day, but we sure could raid your house.
But
Well,
the
you
lemon
kick a
pound
door
cake
in.
was safe. It
It
got
was safe.
eyeballed a lot, but
I did notice in the
don't think he
videos.
sliced it.
Good. That one dude looked like he had a couple lemon pound cakes in his day. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was gonna be like,
You could
they
smell
rated that, like, and that's what's so weird.
it. I'm gonna rate
is
this
like-
lemon pound cake
They busted into this dude's house on a fucking raid,
for lemon pound
kidnapping
cake.
and drugs, and then basically walked around, didn't have armor, didn't have anything
Ogled
on.
his lemon pound cake.
Well, but like, dude, this is like, yeah, dude, no, there's some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
I think there's some bullshit going
Think
on.
about how much often
You
this
don't
happens
go
that we
raid a
don't even
house
know
for drugs
about.
and stuff thinking that this guy has no gun.
Well, I think that's a good point. Is this is obviously being publicized because he's got a platform. Afroman, I'm saying, has a platform where
sure.
he can do
He's
so.
a celebrity.
Right. But I think this probably happens a lot more than we think.
Oh yeah.
To people that don't have that platform, that can't speak out and have no recourse, is to
Yeah.
now you just got to put your fucking house back together and just get over it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's scary when there's not much detail needed apparently to do these kind of things.
Yeah.
So, and again, I think that
Well, it
rights
should be,
and things like
it's-
that,
I mean,
you know.
this brings up a whole set of standards that like need to happen.
at least be closely examined and maybe rethought.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Not gonna happen. We
But
lose
should.
more rights.
Yeah, but should.
Well, but that's the thing is
The
like you
state
got
gets more, we get less.
people like that, dude. Yeah.
I
gotta
know,
say
dude,
is-
yeah.
If I lived in Adams County and you wanted to break into my shit, you might get shot at. Like, if
And
the
that
police
happens.
can't be trusted because
Ruby
they're gonna break
Ridge.
into your house.
Ruby Ridge.
Fuck you, dude. You're a
hello.
criminal. Like at this point, I don't care if what the judge says.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's kind of that end of it too. Like, people are gonna fight back if this shit
Continues and gets publicized the way
Yeah.
it's being, which I think, again, one of those things where it's kind of a good thing it's being brought to light.
Yeah.
Like, so people like us can sit and have a conversation about
Yeah.
it and go on. And I want that conversation to continue in the comments. If anyone's got anything that they think we missed or any points we failed to make, or even discuss the points that we
Yeah,
did make.
What
Or
do
if
you
we're
think? How do you feel
stupid.
about your freedoms in the police state we're entering?
Are we dumb?
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Or if we're stupid, or if
Smelly.
this podcast makes you appreciate real podcasts, leave those
Yeah.
comments as well.
Let
Don't
us
worry,
know.
it's not
In
for
the
the
link
algorithm. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace out, my
Later.
My dang old truck, my dang old pickup truck, and my dog. Who hit my wife?